Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Keslar from Keslar Insurance, and I am so grateful to be here today on behalf of our initiative, Cheers for Charity New Hampshire, that I have the privilege of partnering with my dear friend, JoAnn Burchuk. Hi, JoAnn.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, I'm JoAnn Burchuk with Lighthouse Physical Therapy. Thank you, Lisa, for introducing me. And I have the great pleasure to introduce yet another great charity. So we're very excited to have Allison here today with the Great Bay Stewards. And so Allison, feel free to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what your overall mission is and what you guys do there.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the great work you guys are doing for nonprofits in the area. My name is Allison Knab. I'm the executive director of the Great Bay Stewards. And the Great Bay Stewards are essentially the friends group to the Great Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve. So we support protection and conservation of the Great Bay Estuary through supporting land protection, stewardship, education, and research. And we do that primarily in partnership with the reserve. We also work with other like-minded organizations in the area. So our origin story, which some people may or may not know, is that back in the 70s, Aristotle Onassis proposed building an oil refinery on Great Bay. And some very concerned and active citizens in Durham got together and worked against that project. And so it was eventually voted down by Durham. And in turn, they realized this is this great natural resource we have here, we should be protecting it. So an organization called the Great Bay Trust formed. And they ended up supporting the designation of the reserve. And then from that, the Great Bay Stewards formed to be a friends group to that reserve and to support it and to help with the building of the Great Bay Discovery Center in Greenland. And eventually the Great Bay Trust and the Great Bay Stewards merged together in the 90s. So we are celebrating our 25th anniversary this year, which we're super excited about, and have been working alongside the reserve for years to support their education programs, to support conservation and stewardship, and to promote the Great Bay so people in the area know how important it is, know how to protect it, know how to make decisions that are in the best interest of the Bay. And so it's been a great organization to be a part of. I've been working there for several years and am one of only 2 staff in the Great Bay Stewards. We're a pretty small organization, but we get a lot done. So that's a little bit about us, and I'm happy to talk to you about it further.
Yeah, that's great. I have been out to the Discovery Center out there, and it is such a great place. And I absolutely love what they're doing for the Great Bay. One of the things, both Lisa and I were in Seacoast Leadership, and we had the opportunity to meet with people out there and understand a little bit about what's going on with the Bay and the initiatives that are going on to help clean up the water and the resources there. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? And because I don't think it's a well-known concept around here on, what's going on with the Bay and, why this is so important to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, it's called the Hidden Coast. It's something that a lot of people drive over bridges that go across the Bay, but you don't really see it, unless you seek it out in some ways. So it's great to have you come down to the Discovery Center, and anyone who has children in this area will probably have their children go through a field trip in their education program, which is one of the big things that the reserve does. Education is a big tenet there, and they do 2 field trips a year. They do one that's culture and one that's the ecology of the Bay. And so it gives an opportunity for all the children in the Seacoast, but also throughout New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, to come and learn more about it and learn why it's important to protect the estuary. So the reserve system, as part of its mandate, the reserve is a partnership between New Hampshire Fish and Game and the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. It's a federal and state partnership. Does stewardship as part of it. It does education, it does research, and it also does the coastal training program, which helps decision makers in the area make decisions in the best interest of the Bay. So that helps, people like planning boards, municipal officials, snowplow operators, to understand the decisions they make that help protect the watershed. So, everything from how much salt you're using when you plow to buffer, the importance of buffers in building and construction projects. And there are a lot of great organizations in the area that you may or may not have talked to in the past, the Great Bay Piscataqua Waterkeeper and PrEP, and the Nature Conservancy, the Gondola Company, all these different organizations that also help support the Bay and the health of the Bay.
What do they finding to be one of the leading like issues that they're having problems? Oh,
Sorry,
I have a hard time. Sorry, if I sit too far back, you can't hear me. What are you finding are some of the leading issues of the Bay that they're trying to address? And what are some things that people can do, little things? I know there's a lot of things that we can do to help out that people may not even be aware of.
Yeah, that's a great question, because one of the things we think about are what individual homeowners and area residents can do. You know, a lot of people talk about wastewater treatment plants because nitrogen is obviously a huge issue for the Bay. But there are decisions that individuals can make every single day that are better for the health of the estuary. And we actually launched a program. So I'll show you our signs. We launched a program this summer called the Tide Turner Program. And it's on our website. You can visit it and sign up if you'd like to. But it's basically the idea that it lists 7 things and you're supposed to pledge that you'll do 5 of them that will help the health of the estuary. And a lot of them are really easy. You know, they're cleaning up your dog waste. They're trying to plant native plants in your yard. They're thinking about the fertilizer and the pesticides you use in your yard. So, you know, instead of just carte blanche, okay, my yard needs fertilizer, you can very easily get your yard tested through the UNH cooperative program and find out what your yard really needs, instead of putting something on it doesn't need that just ultimately is going to wash down into the Bay. And there's things that are a little bit more work, but are also great projects for your yard, like putting in a stormwater garden. And you know, making sure that your septic gets serviced. So those are things that homeowners can do that make a huge difference. I mean, it's a big part of the health of the watershed is what an individual is doing, not just a city, not just the wastewater treatment plant, but what you yourself are doing in your yard. So we're trying to get people to be proud of like the clover and the dandelions in their yard, instead of thinking that's a bad thing, but to be proud of making decisions that are better for the estuary, better for the environment, better for wildlife in the area, better for pollinators. So that's something I'm glad you asked the question, because it's a new program we launched, and it's really easy to do. People can make really simple decisions that make a huge difference.
Well, and just so you know, I'm very proud of all my weeds in my yard.
Good.
I have a lot of them.
I am too. I'm dandelions. Got a lot of bunnies this year to show for it. So
you look like you have something you wanted to ask. I don't want to interrupt you.
You go ahead, JoAnn.
Okay. So suggestions, and then fundraising. So let's talk about how you get your funds, and you know, what do you guys need from people other than, you know, obviously conservation is such a big part with everybody, and being more aware of what you're doing that can affect our waterways. But you also obviously provide a lot of programs that need financial resources.
We do. We have a membership program, and so we're always looking for new members, and we would love anyone who wants to sign up. You can easily do it on our website. We do an annual appeal, which is a big part of our funding. But we also have 2 big events every year, and one is the Great Bay 5K, which happens the last Saturday in October. And you know, so you can always sign up for the Great Bay 5K. That's a great way that you can support us. And we love both of our events. So the Great Bay 5K is one, and the Art of Great Bay is the other. It takes place in April. We are now 2 years into canceling it or postponing it, which has been very sad. But I'm sure we'll have it in this next spring. I'm planning on it, come hell or high water. But the 2 events are nice because they're a fundraiser, but they're also a really nice way for people to see the estuary, experience it. Art of Great Bay has a focus on, you know, plants, places, people that are found in the New England coastal area. And so it's a great way to see art that's inspired by that. And they're just fun events. People like to come to them, I think, and we love holding them and putting them on. The Great Bay 5K is a mostly downhill course. It runs along the bay for part of it. And it ends at the Discovery Center. So it's a great way to see the estuary. It's a great way to support us. And it's because it's downhill. If you're like me and not a very strong runner, it's a pretty easy course. People get their personal record a lot of the time there. So those 2 events are our big fundraisers. And we do get grants, and, you know, we do things like community suppers at Flatbread and Robert's Main Grill. We've been really fortunate to partner with them for many years. So yeah, if you go to our website, there's a ton of information about upcoming events and also becoming a member and donating and supporting us.
That's awesome, Allison. So much good stuff going on to protect our community, right? To protect where we live.
A lot of great people working on it. So
Awesome. So if people get excited about this, what's the best way to follow you? What are the ways that you communicate with the community that people can get engaged?
we have a newsletter that goes out electronically monthly that is very easy to sign up for on our website. And it's a really great way to find out what's going on and also what events are coming up and what things that you can do. The Discovery Center does hold lunch and learn programs. They hold speakers. You can volunteer at the Discovery Center. So the e-newsletter is really the best way to get information, but we have a very active Facebook page and an Instagram account. So people can always do that. You can always contact me directly. I'd love to hear from you. But in the website, we keep our website current. And so it also has information about what's going on. We have a blog there. So sort of the usual suspects, but the e-newsletter I think is really a great source of information. And we use it to connect to other partners in the area so people can find out about other things going on in the watershed, not just what we are doing or the reserve is doing.
Lots of great stuff. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Is there anything that we missed or we covered so much information?
I know, sorry.
No? Okay.
I'm going to think about it. No, yeah, I mean, it's been really fun because as probably a lot of organizations, the pandemic slowed us down for a few months. And then it's been really great to see people again and get things up and running. And, we had a virtual 5K last year, but we are planning on having an in-person one this year. And we supported the grab and go program that the Discovery Center did. So they put out activity kits every week for people starting in December, and they're running all through the summer. And, so that we were seeing so many visitors at the Discovery Center, like many places, people just wanted to go anywhere and do anything and get outside. And so it was just saw a ton of activity, and they started trying to think about ways to connect with the families and the children that were coming through there. And so they started putting out these activity kits that changed every week. So that's been fun to support, and they'll be running all through August. And so come down and see us. And the Discovery Center is opened again. So that's also exciting. And so
that's awesome.
It's fun to be back, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully for a while.
Right. And I'm so glad you guys were able to weather that, right? And are able to continue to do important work. Keep our estuaries healthy, which in a lot of respects keeps us healthy. So thank you for that. Thank you for all the hard work you do and making an impact in multiple
Thank you so
ways.
much for doing this. It's been really fun to watch the other ones that you guys have done and see all the great organizations in the area. There's so much going on and so many great people working. A lot of great women out there. There's a lot of great women executive directors, which I like to see.
Right. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really great to see you.